Hey everyone, welcome back to the Trading with a Bot channel. This is going to be episode 3 of the Mizar educational series. I had 2 episodes so far describing how Mizar works, how to register on Mizar, how the credit system works. So essentially, you could register without spending money and start trading. And I have also shown you the marketplace, how to see different strategies and signals and subscribe to some of them. And again, start trading and make some profit. So today we're going to go deeper. We're actually going to create our own bot. We'll create a new bot, and that's going to be the most simple bot one could create. It's going to be an ASAP bot on spot. So I'll explain what that means, especially if you're new. And we will do it just on one coin. We'll create a bot on a coin called WLD, that's World Coin. And I will call this a Hello World Bot. So this is the strategy name. In the description, you can put whatever you want. And we will trade that coin in a long direction. We will not short sell it. And in fact, not only that we would trade it in a long direction, we also will not do any leverage trading. We will not use futures. We will trade it on a spot platform. So that's very basic. It's much safer. Of course, there are some risks, but it's you remove a number of risks if you're trading on spot versus futures. So that's very good for a beginner. And what we look at in this very first part of the screen when you create a bot is, as I mentioned, the name, the market, spot, or futures. So we go for spot, and then we specify our order size. And then there are a few more very important parts that we need to look at a bit closer. So the order size is measured here in USDT, so it's around $20 or 20 USDT. And you'll actually have a chance to scale this up or down. So it's not as important at the moment, the order size for base order and safety order. And start order type, there are only 2 options. You either buy at the market price or at the limit price. And we usually buy the market price. It's just faster. And when we sell, we usually sell at the limit. So we'll get 2 selling part later. So we keep this at market. And now we come to start order condition. And this is where things get interesting. There are a few things that you can choose from. There is the trading view signal. So you can set up a strategy from your trading view account, and you can use a webhook or an API to send a signal to Mizar.com. I think that's something we will get to, especially if this is new to you. Then here, trading view indicators. This is where Mizar has a number of built-in indicators. These are various strategies, and you can see there is a number of them, such as RSI and so on. And you could also nest them. You could combine multiple strategies to create a very unique and potentially powerful strategy to find a condition where you could perform a buy, where you would enter a particular coin. So they're very customizable, as you can see here. And again, if you're new, we will not get into that right now. Our Hello World bot, our very first bot, will be the most simple bot ever, and that will be an ASAP bot. So these types of bots are bots that are working non-stop. They enter a position and they wait until the price increases, and then they sell, and then they enter a position again. So they trade non-stop. The buy condition is ASAP. So for the Hello World, for the World coin, we're going to create an ASAP bot. Now, in the next two sections, you will specify exchanges on which we will trade, and we'll specify the pair. Again, as I mentioned, I would like to trade specifically this WLD world coin, and we'll trade in USDT stable currency. So when we are creating a first bot, or when we first create a bot on Mizar, it acts as a template. So as we're doing now, we are creating a bot and it will act as a template. And then we can subscribe to the template. That's why I mentioned we could scale up or down our base order and safety order sizes. And we can also choose the exchange that we want to trade on. But as we are creating this as a template for the exchange field, I propose we just select all the exchanges that Mizar has a connection to. So then later, when we want to trade on KuCoin or Binance, we will specify that. But here in a template, we select all of the exchanges. And as we move down to the pair that we want to trade, we will choose USDT, and we will find specifically this world coin. So WLD. Here it is, and I'm just going to select one pair. In other strategies, of course, you could select multiple pairs, and you could have a bot that trades multiple pairs. All right, so we now have market spot, exchanges, and the pair that we want to focus on. And we scroll down for the next sections. Now, for these next few sessions, I propose we also open Trading View, like I did in a new tab, and we'll look at the world coin price to have a bit of a visual discussion. So WLD USD. Okay, here it is. So we can open the price on Binance. So you see, this is somewhat of a recent release of that particular token of this coin. So I need to look at the past few days, not months rather, but weeks. And when it initially released, of course, it spiked up and then it went down. And now it's within this particular range. So it's around $2 and 12 cents. So it's ranging now. And my expectation is that the price would continue to grow. It would go up. Of course, this is not a financial advice. This is just logic that I'm explaining to you on how to construct a bot. So if I'm expecting that the price would continue, maybe like as it has been here or here, but then it went down, and I hope it would again go up, then I need to understand, okay, what are the ranges that we are looking at here? So 20% up, 9% down. Then again, here we went up by 12%. And then at this point, you drop by again 20. It's quite big range, and it's relatively short time. And that's not unusual in crypto, right? So within the 3 days here, look, it went down by 20%. And then again, I hope it will continue to go up. So this is the information that we need to take into account for constructing our dollar cost averaging strategy, our safety order strategy, which we would do in this section. So we would not have a stop loss here. We would just continue to buy more of this coin as the price fluctuates. As the price goes down, we would buy a bit more. And then as the price goes up, you would sell it. So for selling, the target I propose for you is 2%. So take profit target is 2%, and there is no trailing. As soon as it hits 2%, we are putting a limit order, or in fact, we put in a limit order as soon as we buy, and at 2%, we exit. And then note this particular field. So it's asking us, well, at which 2% do you want to exit? Do you want to exit at the base order, at the very initial place where we enter? And the answer is no, because we are going to buy more as the price drops, we want to exit at 2% of the total volume. So we need to click here and select percentage of the total volumes, because we want to take advantage of the dollar cost averaging. We want the cost and the price decrease and then take 2% of the total average price. Again, as I mentioned, if this is very new to you, I've done some videos in the past on these topics where I can help you individually. Then about safety orders. How many safety orders do we want? So, well, we saw that it could drop by 20% here, right? Maybe more, hopefully not, but it could happen. So let's say what I would do is I would say, let's have 5 safeties. The first safety would start at 5%. Yeah. And then if we put 1 here for the step scale, that means the second safety would be at 10%. The third safety order would be opened at 15%, fourth at 20, and the fifth one is at 25. So it cover 25% of a range. So this is what you would put for the step scale, and that's how it would work if it's 1. But we could put this a little bit less than 1. I propose 0.95. And that means that the grid that you're constructing with the safety orders would shrink just tiny bit. So instead of the first one would be at 5%, but the second one, instead of at 10%, it would be 9.9 something, and so on. We'll look at the specific numbers in a moment in the visual representation. And then finally, there is one important field here, and this one is asking, okay, by how much you want to increase your order size? And what I'm proposing is very aggressive. I'm saying, well, I'm going to double it. So each safety order, I would double the amount that I'm buying. So if I'm using 20 USD or USDT for purchasing WorldCoin, the next time I'm going to spend 40, and the next time I'm going to spend 80. That's very, very, very aggressive. And again, not a financial advice, just an explanation and an education. But the idea of such an aggressive setup is that this coin would continue to have a lot of publicity, a lot of marketing, and there's a huge investment that's been behind this coin so far. So I expect that there will be some utility of the coin. So even as the price would continue to drop, we'd buy a lot of it, and then we would need just a bit of a recovery. We wouldn't need the full way recovery, to that place where you bought it from, but because of the dollar cost averaging, just a bit of the recovery would be enough to exit your position. So this is the setup. 5 safety orders, only 1 safety order active at a time. This one is not as important. It could be 5 as well. It just basically says how many orders you have in the order book active. Safety start at 5%, and then they decrease very little. Each safety is shrinking slightly, and then we double the volume of the order size. There's no stop loss, as I mentioned, no trailing, and there is no special settings. The special settings where you can put here, you could have a timeout or a break in between the trades. I don't think that's needed, or a position timeout. So in this particular strategy, I'm just disabling them, not enabling them at all. And that would be all for that particular DCA bot setup, which would trade WorldCoin ASAP mode. Now, it doesn't mean that you'll have many trades. it would mean that as soon as one trade exits, it opens the position again, and it waits until the position reaches either 2%, or if the price goes down and it drops by 5%, then it buys more of the coin. And we click on Create Bot. Here, once again, you see the summary of your settings. It will not start. Again, this is just a template, so it's perfect for you to review. And even you could say create, and you wouldn't need to worry about having any position starting. So let's do that now. The settings are correct based on the specifications I have in mind, and we're going to create it. Now, as we created the bot, Mizar will remind us that the bot is not started, and we need to subscribe one of our exchanges to that bot. So you could do it later, or you could say add subscription now, and it shows you on this screen which of your exchanges actually would qualify for that bot. So here, in my case, it says none, because I believe I only have one exchange that I have connected to Mizar, and it was futures setup. But this particular bot that we just created is trading on spot, so they're a match. Now I could trade this setup on paper, and in fact I've done it, and that's something I may recommend to you as well. But I want to continue trading this bot on my real account. So I will not click here anywhere. I will go back to my exchanges here. And I have just one exchange. It, by the way, shows me the positions that I have open. And I will add a new exchange where I will trade this bot on spot. So I want to do it. I think I'll do it on KuCoin. So let me now configure my API keys and connect an exchange, and then continue with the video. Okay, now I just connected my spot account on KuCoin exchange. Connection is successful. And now in my exchanges, I will see two connected exchanges, two accounts. So I call this KuCoin Spot 01. All right, so this bot that we just created should be here under DCA bots. And as I mentioned, it serves as a template. So now it is inactive, and we would need to subscribe to it in order to start trading with that particular bot. So we are going to do it from here and add new subscription. So add new subscription. Now one of my exchanges is eligible for this particular settings. I will select that. And here, as I mentioned, it will ask me for the size of my base order. So I will actually choose 6. It says that minimum recommended is 10, but I do believe 6 would work just fine. And I will tell you why I think 6 would be perfect for this bot. So, and for my amount, so let me leave as 6. Maximum positions is just 1. Okay. And now it's calculating the capital needed. So the bot is using the sizing to calculate how much capital would be required to trade with all the safety orders filled. So if I go here in more details, this is showing me that my very first base order is 6 USDT. And then the safety order then would double, and then this would double from here, and so on. So the base order is 6, but my safety is already 12, as we have specified in the parameters of the settings. So I will click as understand, and I will click on next. So let's see what happens here. Okay, we already reviewed this. And we will click on invest. And I'm expecting the bot to open position immediately. So the bot is active, let's see. Currently there's no positions. We can also see it from here, from the positions. Okay, now we can see a position. The first base order is entered. Seems it hasn't done a safety order yet. Let me refresh. Still says missing order. Okay, we are waiting to enter this. I'll do another refresh here. Okay, looks now we have entered. There is no error message anymore. The base order is executed. We have the first safety order placed as a limit order, and we have the take profit with the target of 2% placed as well. So this is now our private bot that we created. We created a template, and we have subscribed to that on our KuCoin Spot account. So let's leave this running for a day or so and look at the results. All right, and now I'm back to show you the results. So if I go to DCA bots, these are the bots I have on this account. These two are subscribed to, and this is my own. That's a private bot. So there is one subscription here. That's right here. And I can see that bot has currently one active position. So I can click here, and I can see that this bot had already a bit of a profit right here. And unfortunately, that's all I can see from this interface. It's a bit limited comparing, for example, to the public bots. The public bots interface has much more visualization about the current performance and past performance, but somehow private bots don't have that much features. Anyway, I see that we have taken, I've seen my profit curve slowly growing, and I see that we have currently one position. So if I go to see that position currently is in a negative unrealized loss. It's in negative P&L, but that's normal. So if we can see that I have one safety out of 5, one safety order is consumed. I have 4 more. And as 4 or 3 or 2 may be consumed and the price reverses, I would exit that again. So that's how the non-stop bots work. So this position had been held for 1 hour and 16 days. And if I go to history, there was this first exit that I've had. It also took quite a while. It took 14 hours. And it made this 2% of the target profit. So in the history, we can always narrow down on what we want to see. If you have, especially if you have multiple bots, there was just one exit of our Hello World. It's not the most robust bot ever. And one of the reasons is because it's a very large take profit. So it's not really scalping these price fluctuations. It's really waiting for the growth. And it's really waiting for it's really waiting for to accumulate the position here. So if you look again at the price, all right, and that's the price of the world coin in the last 3 days. So we've had one exit, probably around here, and then dropped again. So we're picking up the position. I'd be curious to hear your opinion in comments, what you think about the WorldCoin itself, about this project. If you think that particular token would go up, you may have seen the news about the orbs that are scanning people's eyes. It's just unbelievable. So we're living in a science fiction movie these days. All right. Now on this, I will finish this episode. We created a very simple bot. It's not anything complicated or complex or sophisticated. It's a very simple, quite dumb, in fact, type of a bot where we just enter and exit in non-stop ASAP mode. And if the price doesn't go, if it doesn't go up and exit, the bot would simply buy additional position. So these are the safety orders that we have defined. This is for your education and experimentation. There may be another coin that you like, not necessarily the world coin, but another token that you think would definitely go up and you want to trade it. And you can use a template like that. You could play around with these values and see how that will affect the performance and the ROI. For this particular bot, I expect maybe around 5% of ROI per month. So nothing crazy, but good to start with and not very risky. Okay, let me finish now, and I'll do another episode where we can create yet another more sophisticated and more complex type of a setup.